Hello people, it's Tokes here from Watered Seed. Welcome to Watered Seed Talks. Now today, I want to discuss the golden child disorder. Have you heard of it? Join us. Let's dive in. Okay, so before starting today's conversation on golden child disorder, are you excited? Yay, I am. Before going into that conversation, I need you to do one thing. Subscribe! Okay, that's out of the way. Now, golden child disorder. Now, if you know me very well in regards to what I do, what we push at Watered Seed and what we encourage parents to do is to nurture children with love, with concern, with connectivity, for us to praise our children, for them to be able to actually live their potential and actually exceed whatever they think that they want to fulfill in life. It's almost like to meet that potential. I think that's the right word. But recently I've noticed something else, and I wanted to discuss this because I wasn't sure if this is something that you noticed as well. And this is why I've called it the golden child disorder. And I would explain why I've called it this and my understanding of what this is in a couple of seconds. But I think that in the process of motivating our kids and praising them, I think we've birthed a new era, a new problem. And we always say that when a child grows up in an atmosphere that isn't adequate in loving and nurture, obviously it causes some psychological effects in later life where they feel like they have problems with attaching with people. And we know that these problems exist. But the golden child disorder, I believe, is another type of disorder. It's subtle in the way that it hits us. And what this means is that when we love a child to such a high intensity that we start to praise them for exceptional capabilities that they do not possess. These children do not possess these capabilities, they do not possess these abilities, but somehow as parents, we feel like this is the only way to motivate them to be better. But what we're actually doing is that we're causing another problem, because the golden child would never fulfill or attain all of these capabilities or abilities because it's not in them to fulfill those abilities or capabilities. So let me go into the 3 things that I know would impact a golden child disorder. Now, the number one thing is that they will never live to the expectation, because we have enforced on them as parents things that they're never going to be. And so it's almost like a sorry case for the golden child, because their parents have told them that this is what they need to attain, and they're unable to attain that. They get generally frustrated. Now, number 2 is that a golden child with a disorder like this would live an unhappy life, because they would always strive for perfection that they would never be able to attain. So imagine marrying someone who has a golden child disorder. They would always seek perfection in everything they do. They would always seek perfection in everything you do. They would always seek perfection as a father to their children. So everything around them would always be cut short. They would never really enjoy the moment, enjoy everything in front of them, because of the fact that they always strive for perfection, and that is never going to exist. So it is going to impact on that line of generation of children. It's going to impact those children, it's going to impact the grandchildren, and it's an ongoing line. It's almost like it goes down the line as to the impact of what this does. Now, the golden child as well is the fact that some of them will liberate themselves and therefore will come out of this ditch that either their guardian or their parents have put them in. And for those golden child, that is a good thing. But generally, this is really a downward spiral if we continue to raise children and tell them that they can take the world when they do not have the capabilities or abilities to be able to do so. I think parents out there, and because we're raising children and we're raising young adults who are going into the world, I really believe that we need to be clear in regards to how we raise our children. I am no expert. I am not perfect at this. Again, we're all learning as we go along. And so I think the number one thing that I've learned is that we need to love our children unconditionally. We need to love them not to condition it because they're academically smart or they're good at sports. Now, we don't do it purposely, but it is subconscious. We just do. Every time they do something at school, which is something that we need to be proud of them about, we're really excited. We love them more. And the moment they do a negative, it's almost like we start to, we do the negative. We almost curse everything that they've done and forget all those good things that they've done. So we need to love our children, even when they're golden child or when they're not golden children. We need to love them unconditionally. They need to understand that mommy will praise me when I've done something wrong, but mommy would still love me regardless if I do something incorrectly. We need to really push that forward, because it is hard as a parent. I know that sometimes I'm so upset I forget to, truly show nurture and love. But I've started to put this at the forefront of my mind to say, yes, you've done something wrong, but regardless of what you do, to reiterate it in my words, in my speech, to say no matter what you do, I would always love you. That is why I'm here for you. Now, the second thing as parents that we need to be aware of is that we cannot put our own inadequacies on our children. Because I have been unable to fulfill something in my life doesn't mean that my child has to fulfill that. Because what if that's not my child's passion? Again, what we'd have to do is we'll start to praise them. And I know that, I witnessed a lot of this growing up generally in Nigeria, where, I would hear parents say, well, my son's going to be a doctor, or my daughter's going to be a doctor. And then the daughter decides that they want to be a writer. It becomes a big problem, because again, it is putting our own inadequacies on our children. We decide what they are. We decide what we want them to be. And I understand this. I understand the culture. I understand why we do this, because we want them to be the best. We don't want them to strive when they grow up to be able to afford everything. I understand, but we really need to start to treat our children as individuals, and that they have their own path, not our own path. They're not here to live our lives. They're here for their own path, and we need to really push them towards their own path and not our own path. And that takes courage. That takes unlearning a lot of things, which have done for this last couple of years. But we really need to push that agenda as parents to be able to just let our own inadequacies, just let it fall off, and let our kids be who they want to be. Now, the other thing is that I want parents out there to understand is that praising and motivating a child with potential is not the same thing as a golden child disorder. You can obviously spot that the child has that capability. You can see that they have the ability. You can see that they're exceptional with their peers, in their peers, and so you push them to be the best that they are. And I want us to really segregate the difference between the two, because they're two different things. Because the golden child disorder really is when everybody else around us can actually see that this child is not good at this, or this high rave for this child, they don't meet that expectation, but yet we lie to ourselves and we lie to the child. And I don't know why we do this, but somehow we do. And it is in that aspect of exceptional propensity in regards to the ability that actually impacts on the psychology of the mental state of the child. It is in us telling the child that you can do everything that you have no potential for. That is what causes the problem. That is what causes the mental breakdown. So we really need to be aware of this. I really wanted to touch on this topic, because I think that is a subtle one, but I see it rising. I see every parent telling their child they can do it. And I understand that, yes, they can do it to encourage them, but there has to come a point where when the encouragement you have to understand that, okay, now this encouragement, this child is not good at this. And so we need to let them decide for themselves to say, I'm not good at this, and kind of stop there. So please, parents, as I always say, stop, think, reflect. How does this impact you? How does this impact how you're raising our young girls, our young adults, your kids out there? We've now come to the end of our conversation. We hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a comment, please. We need your comments. We need to know how we're doing. And subscribe. Like I said earlier on, I didn't really understand what it meant to subscribe, but now I do. So please subscribe, okay? See you soon. Bye.